Before a single oven is lit, the day begins with the arrival of raw ingredients on a monumental scale. Tankers deliver liquid sugar and oil, pumping thousands of liters directly into the facility's circulatory system. Inside the silos, massive aeration systems keep tons of wheat flour in a fluid state, preventing compaction.
The mixing hall is the heart of the operation, where automation meets culinary chemistry.
Liquid egg is pumped through chilled lines, maintained at a critical temperature to ensure food safety.
Microdosing systems weigh active ingredients with laboratory precision, essential for a consistent rise.
Overseeing the chaos is a centralized computer system that tracks every gram of material entering the line.
The industrial mixers, capable of handling 500 kilos per batch, roar to life.
Liquid ingredients arrive by the tanker load, pumped directly into climate-controlled storage to maintain freshness. Inside the mixing hall, the scale of operation dwarfs the human element, designed for relentless efficiency. Before a single machine is touched, strict sanitation protocols ensure the production line remains a sterile environment. Engineers monitor the entire ecosystem from a central control room, adjusting flow rates and temperatures with a keystroke. Pneumatic tubes transport dry ingredients overhead, moving tons of flour and sugar to the mixing stations within seconds. Ingredients converge in massive steel bowls, weighed automatically to ensure the chemistry of the batter is perfect. High-torque mixers whip the ingredients into a smooth, aerated batter, incorporating the air necessary for a light, fluffy texture.
Precision dosing systems weigh raw ingredients with clinical accuracy, ensuring the chemistry of the batter remains consistent across millions of units.
The planetary mixers introduce air into the emulsion, changing the specific gravity of the batter to create the desired fluffiness.
Once the specific gravity is achieved, hydraulic lifts transfer the batch to the depositor hoppers, keeping the production line continuously fed. Before the batter arrives, an automated release agent system coats the trays, a crucial step to ensure the cakes detach cleanly after baking. Volumetric pistons deposit the exact amount of batter into each cavity, maintaining a weight tolerance of less than 1 gram. The trays enter a 100-foot-long tunnel oven, which is divided into multiple heating zones to control the rise and texture.
Inside, the batter undergoes the Maillard reaction, where proteins and sugars interact to create the cake's golden crust and flavor profile.
Emerging at the other end, the cakes are fully baked and release a plume of steam as they hit the cooler air of the packaging hall.
At this stage, high-torque mixers blend the ingredients into a perfectly emulsified batter. Quality control sensors monitor the batter's viscosity to ensure a consistent rise. Once mixed, the batter is pumped into the hopper, ready for the depositing line.
Before baking, pans are coated with a fine mist of oil to ensure easy release.
Automated depositors fill each pan with exactly the right amount of batter. Thousands of cakes travel along the belt, heading toward the massive tunnel oven. The cakes enter the oven, where precise temperatures will transform the batter.
Inside, the batter rises and browns, developing its final texture and flavor. Emerging from the thermal tunnel, the sponge cakes have stabilized, transforming from liquid batter to a solid structural matrix.
Vacuum depanners lift the fragile cakes with gentle precision, separating them from the hot trays without leaving a mark.
Speed matches volume as the cakes traverse the cooling zones, transitioning from the baking hall to the finishing area. To save floor space, the factory utilizes massive spiral coolers, allowing the cakes to travel over a mile without leaving the room. Microporosity is essential. The sponge must be cool enough to hold its shape, yet moist enough to absorb the syrup injection.
Laser scanners analyze every millimeter of the surface, rejecting any cake that deviates from the standard profile.
Ultrasonic blades vibrate at 20,000 Hz, slicing the sponge without creating crumbs or crushing the delicate structure.
Automated nozzles deposit a precise gram weight of filling, ensuring a consistent ratio of cream to cake in every bite.
At the oven's entrance, the batter begins its thermal transformation, entering a meticulously controlled environment. Inside, zone-controlled heating elements trigger the Maillard reaction, giving the cakes their signature golden crust. Emerging from the heat, the cakes release steam, signaling the completion of the baking cycle.
Vacuum suction cups gently lift the fragile sponges, separating them from the hot pans without crushing the structure.
To stabilize the crumb, the cakes ascend a massive spiral cooling tower, traveling over a mile of conveyor belt.
Proper cooling is critical. It sets the starch structure, preparing the sponge for the intricate slicing process ahead.
Reciprocating blades slice the sponge horizontally, creating perfectly even layers for the filling injection.
A fine mist of simple syrup is applied to the layers, locking in moisture and enhancing the flavor profile.
The pans enter the 60-meter tunnel oven, where a series of gas-fired zones provide precise thermal control. Inside, convection currents ensure the batter rises evenly, activating the leavening agents and setting the sponge structure. Emerging from the heat, the cakes release steam as they hit the cooler air of the production floor.
A vacuum depanner gently lifts the cakes from their molds, relying on the release agent applied at the start of the line.
Before they can be decorated, the core temperature must drop significantly to prevent the filling from melting.
They enter the spiral cooler, a vertical conveyor system that provides 40 minutes of cooling time in a compact footprint.
Laser scanners analyze the geometry of every cake, instantly rejecting any that fail to meet strict dimensional standards.
High-speed bandsaws slice the cakes horizontally, revealing the fine crumb structure and preparing them for the filling.
Titanium blades vibrating at ultrasonic frequencies slice the sponge without applying pressure, preventing deformation and ensuring a crumb-free cut.
To guarantee moisture retention, automated nozzles spray a calculated dose of syrup, which permeates the sponge pores instantly.
Giant mixers aerate the filling to a precise specific gravity, injecting nitrogen to stabilize the texture for the automated depositors.
Servo-driven pistons deposit an exact volume of cream, ensuring every layer has a consistent thickness down to the gram.
High-speed Delta robots utilize vacuum grippers to stack the layers, aligning them with sub-millimeter precision at incredible speeds.
Automated spatulas apply a crumb coat while the cake spins, sealing the sponge and creating a smooth foundation for the final glaze.
The cakes travel through a blast cooling tunnel, where chilled air sets the icing instantly, locking in the structure.
Finally, the cakes pass under a curtain of tempered ganache, which enrobes the entire product in a seamless, glossy shell. Emerging from the thermal processing zone, the cakes have achieved a precise crumb structure and moisture content.
Vacuum grippers gently transfer the fragile sponges, separating them from the baking molds without damaging the surface. To stabilize the structure, the cakes travel through a vertical cooling spiral for 45 minutes.
Laser profilometers scan every millimeter, rejecting any cake that fails to meet the strict dimensional specifications.
Ultrasonic blades slice the sponge horizontally, vibrating so fast that nothing sticks to the metal. Automated nozzles shower the base layers with a calibrated dose of flavoring syrup to ensure a moist bite.
Aerated filling is extruded onto the base, providing the signature creamy center of the dessert.
Robotic arms reunite the layers, creating a perfect sandwich ready for the final icing curtain.
A precise curtain of tempered chocolate coats each unit, with blowers removing excess to ensure the shell weight meets exact specifications.
Synchronized depositors apply the finishing touches while the coating is still receptive, adhering the garnish permanently. To solidify the coating, the line passes through a multi-zone cooling tunnel where temperatures drop rapidly to crystallize the fats. Advanced vision systems photograph every unit, instantly rejecting any cake that fails to meet the strict aesthetic parameters. Blow wrappers encase the cakes in airtight film at a rate of 400 units per minute, sealing in moisture.
Safety is paramount. Every package runs through metal detectors and checkweighers to guarantee consumer safety and regulatory compliance. Delta robots utilize vacuum grippers to collate the individually wrapped cakes into retail-ready boxes with non-stop efficiency. Finally, the cases are sealed, labeled, and prepared for the palletizer, ready to be shipped to grocery stores nationwide.
Every single unit undergoes a rigorous forensic scan to ensure safety and consistency.
Secondary packaging lines operate at speeds that blur the human eye, boxing hundreds of cakes per minute. To ensure stability during transit, each pallet is cocooned in industrial-grade stretch film.
Laser-guided vehicles transport the finished pallets to cold storage, eliminating the need for manual forklifts.
In the cold storage facility, thousands of tons of product are held at sub-zero temperatures.
The final handoff occurs at the loading docks, where the cold chain remains unbroken. From here, the cakes begin their journey to retail shelves across the country.
Once boxed, the cakes enter the palletization zone, where robotic arms stack them with geometric precision for stability. The finished pallets are moved to massive climate-controlled warehouses, waiting for dispatch orders to retailers nationwide.
Cold chain logistics ensure that the cakes remain fresh as they are loaded onto refrigerated trucks.
Every night, a fleet of trucks departs the facility, racing against the clock to deliver fresh product to store shelves.
While the trucks roll out, the factory floor undergoes a rigorous sanitation process to prepare for the next shift.
This facility runs 24 hours a day, a relentless engine of confectionery production.
And that's how millions of cakes are made, from raw materials to the final product.